So now we're going to style our main section. So back to our CSS file. After the header rules, let's come in here. Let's first create a rule that will target all of the sections. We're going to come in here and set a margin bottom of 50 pixels. And then we're also going to set a pseudo element to clear all of the floats. We're still going to be floating some individual elements here to create columns for the print version, and we'll want to clear these floats as well. Again, just like we did earlier in the course. So after section, 2 colons, then type after, put in our brackets, we'll type content, 2 tick marks and a semicolon. So we're going to leave the content blank. We'll set a display type of block and a clear property of both. So now with those changes made to all sections, now we'll target section main. So we'll type section.main, put in our brackets. We're going to set margin top to 20 pixels. And we're going to set margin bottom to 30 pixels. Next, we'll target the asides inside of section main. So I'll copy that rule, paste it, type aside. We're going to set a width of 33%. We'll set a float property of left, and then text align to center. Next, we'll target the content class on that div inside of the asides. So again, paste that, div.content. And we're going to come in here and set the margin to 15 pixels on all sides. So let's go back to the browser. Let's test our work so far. So now we can see all of our columns showing up. The next thing I want to do is I want to take these pseudo elements for the URL. I don't want them to be bold, and I want them to be underneath of these individual headings. So let's go back to our CSS. Let's come up here and copy the rule where we target the div.content. Let's hit a space. Let's type H3, then a space, then an anchor tag, 2 colons. We're going to target the pseudo element that's inside of those particular anchor links. Again, since we defined the pseudo elements for all anchor tags, all of these will have the content specifying the href. So what we're going to do down here, similar to what we did with the div with a class of hero in the header, is we want to have this show on its own line. So we're going to come in here and we're going to set a display type to block. That will push it to its own line. We also want to change the font family. So we'll set font family. We'll change this back to a serif font, then a space. We're also going to change the font weight back to normal. So to see how these look, let's go back to the browser. Let's hit reload. Now we can see that the anchor links are on their own line. They're not in bold and they're using a serif font. So with those in place, let's go back and let's bring in our SVG graphics. So let's hit a few returns. We're going to target the individual classes we created earlier in the course. For the asides inside of section main, we have trending, find it, and tools. So let's come up here and select this rule, selecting all the way up to the content class. Let's paste that down here. Then we'll type .trending, 2 colons. We'll add a before pseudo element here. Put in our brackets. We'll type content, colon, URL, parentheses, semicolon. And for the trending class, we're going to use the print version of the star icon. So we'll type /images/ icon underscore star underscore print.svg. Now I'll duplicate this 2 more times. For the second one, I'll change .trending to .findit. And for the icon, we're going to come down here and use the marker. So icon underscore marker underscore print. Then for the third one, we'll change trending to tools. And for the graphic, we're going to use the gear. So then back to the browser, we'll hit reload. And now we can see those graphics being injected into each one of those content containers. And so with this in place, next we'll work on the atmosphere section.